Not losing weight? Let's explore one reason you may not be seeing results. Well, hey, hot mamas! Welcome to Crazy Sexy Menopause. I'm Betty Vargas, and I create content around menopause that will educate pre, peri, and postmenopausal women on how to live more vibrantly through my 3 keys of mindset, meals, and movement. We live in an instant society. We want everything quick, fast, and in a hurry, including our food. And oftentimes, we focus on the brand name and front label marketing when the back label is what's most important to our overall health. If you're having trouble reaching your weight loss goal, you want to lower your cholesterol, your blood pressure, and glucose levels, then reading the nutrition facts on labels can help you make informed and healthier choices about the food you consume. What's that label really telling us? Let's take a look. I've got some products here to help us understand how much we're really consuming. This is a bottle of olive oil, and the first thing we want to focus on is the servings per container. This is the amount of food that the label is based on. So with this olive oil, it's 63 servings per container. After we've looked at the servings per container, the next thing we want to focus on is the serving size. It's measured in cups, in tablespoons or teaspoons, grams, or numbers of pieces if individually packaged, like candy, for instance. This olive oil serving size is 1 tablespoon, and the weight measurement is what's in the parentheses here, and that's 15 milliliters. For our syrup here, it's 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons. This is actually a 2 tablespoon measure, and that's the serving size. In this example, 1 tablespoon of olive oil equals 1 serving. So if you're indiscriminately pouring your syrup, which is 2 tablespoons, on your pancakes, or you're slathering your oil in your pan, you may be consuming double or even triple the amount of your serving size, which are the hidden calories that result in weight gain. Now, let's look at the calories. The calorie count is another important piece of information on the label. Calories provide the measure of how much energy you will get from 1 serving of food. It's important to keep in mind that the number of calories you need per day depends on various factors like your age, your sex, your weight, your height, and your activity level. It's also important to know that there are 4 calories per gram of protein and carbohydrate. There are 9 calories per gram of fat and 7 calories per gram of alcohol. These are very important numbers to remember. With the example here of this 1 tablespoon of olive oil, that equals 120 calories. If you eat 2 tablespoons of oil, okay, that's double the calories and all of the nutrients. And we'll talk about them in a little bit. But if you're trying to lose weight and your goal is to consume 1,500 calories per day, remember that 2 tablespoons of this oil is 240 of those 1,500 calories. The next thing we're going to talk about are macronutrients. They are the nutrients that provide energy and make up the majority of the calories in our diets. And the 3 primary macronutrients are proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So let's look at each one individually. Our bodies need fat for energy, cell function, to protect our organs, to help keep our bodies warm, to help our bodies absorb nutrients, and produce hormones. So some fat is absolutely essential, but many of us, we eat too much. In fact, there are 5 areas of importance on the nutrition facts label. They are the total fat, the saturated fat, the trans fat, polyunsaturated fat, and monounsaturated fat. Now, the trans fats and the saturated fats are the quote-unquote bad fat. And they're solid at room temperature. Polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats are the quote-unquote good fats, and they're liquid at room temperature. But no matter which fat we refer to, remember there are 9 calories for every gram. So if you eat too much, you're going to gain weight. This label also includes the total amount of fat, and that's saturated fat, monounsaturated fat, and polyunsaturated fat. Now, the saturated and the trans fat should be limited in your diet, as they can increase your risk of heart disease and stroke. If you use 2 tablespoons of olive oil, you have just consumed 26 grams of fat. So let's move on to carbohydrates. Our bodies turn carbohydrates into glucose that gives us energy to function. And they're in the form of fiber, starch, and sugar. So carbohydrates are either complex or they're simple. Complex carbohydrates are your fruits and vegetables, beans, legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. And they contain the vitamins and minerals and fibers that our body needs. The simple carbohydrates are typically processed like pastries, cereals, cookies, soda, and fruit juices, which spike the blood sugar and are more likely to increase your risk of high cholesterol, diabetes, and heart disease. On our agave, this is a good example. The number of the total carbohydrates refers to how many carbohydrate grams are in one serving. So it's a combination of the fiber, starch, and the sugar. How many carbs you consume depends on your age, again, your sex, your body type, and your activity level. Now, for this example, we've got a total of 32 total carbohydrates in one serving. That's our 2 tablespoons. So 2 tablespoons, which is one serving of this agave syrup, provides 32 grams of carbohydrates. We're going to move on to protein. Protein has a host of benefits, and everybody wants to know how much protein are you getting, especially if you're a vegetarian or vegan. That's all they want to know. Protein builds muscle, it repairs muscle, it keeps you satiated, it's good for your bones, increases fat burning, as well as providing energy. So our spirulina here, the serving size is 1 tablespoon. And that provides 4 grams of protein. And this has 1 total gram of carbohydrate. Now, let's move on to our sodium. If you have high blood pressure, this is the number that's most important for you. Because what do you have to do? You have to watch your sodium intake. Many prepared, packaged, and restaurant foods are super high in sodium, can contribute to high blood pressure and other health problems. So you want to focus on the sodium content. Our bodies only need less than 500 milligrams of sodium per day to function, which is less than, which is less than a quarter teaspoon. That's all we need. That's all our bodies need to function. But on average, Americans eat more than 3,400 milligrams of sodium per day. Right now, the American Heart Association recommends the daily sodium intake as less than 2,300 milligrams per day and less than 1,500 milligrams per day if you have high blood pressure. This is a low sodium vegetable broth, and the sodium content in here is 125 milligrams. So this is relatively low. I've seen them upwards of 400 milligrams of sodium in some broths. The next thing we want to focus on is sugar. If you have or are suffering from diabetes, then this is the number that's most important for you. This one has total sugars. So there is the total sugar, and that means the sugar that is naturally present in the nutritious food. Now, added sugar is the sugar that's added during processing. Actually, this agave does have total sugars. The total sugar is 32 grams. Sugar grams are included in the total carbohydrate count. So if you're looking at your total carbs for this agave, the total carb is 32 grams, and your total sugar is 32 grams. So the sugar and the carbohydrates are the same. It's the total sugar. The total sugars for this vegetable broth is 2 grams, but it includes less than 1 gram of added sugar. So the total sugars is 2 grams. So it's 1 plus 1. Okay? The American Heart Association's recommended daily intake for sugar is no more than 100 grams, or about 6 teaspoons or 24 grams of added sugar per day for women, and no more than 150 calories, which is about 9 teaspoons or 36 grams of added sugar per day for men. To put that in perspective, a can of soda is 8 teaspoons. Let that sink in. So having the word includes before added sugars on the label indicates that the added sugars are included in the number of grams of total sugars in the product, which is what I was sharing before. So this includes 32 grams of added sugar. If the product has 7 grams of added sugar and 8 grams of natural sugars, this comprises the total of 15 grams of sugar, if that were this particular product. But this one is all added sugars, and that's the total sugar. Fiber. Fiber is an essential nutrient that helps keep you feeling full and satiated. It promotes healthy digestion and reduces the risk of chronic disease. Look for foods that contain at least 3 or more grams of fiber per serving. Fiber is included in the carbohydrate count, so subtract the fiber number from the total carbohydrate because it's not digested in the body and doesn't increase blood sugar levels. The percent daily value. The percent daily value, that is the percentage of the daily value for each nutrient in a serving of food. It shows how much a nutrient is in a serving of food that contributes to your total daily diet. So the percent daily value helps you to determine if a serving of food is high or low in a nutrient. So 5% daily value or less of a nutrient per serving is considered low. 20% daily value or more of a nutrient per serving is considered high. Choose foods that are high in the percent daily value for dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium, and low in percent daily value for saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars. An example is to look at the amount of sugar in one serving. Example, The amount of sugar in one serving of this label is 64%, which shows that it is high. It's a high sugar product and has, because it's more than 20% for sugar, your daily consumption. So if you consume 2 servings, that would provide 128% of the daily value for sugar, which is over the charts. Now, this is what's called the footnote. That's the percent daily value that tells you how much of a nutrient in a serving of food contributes to a daily diet. This number is based on 2,000 calories per day. So this would be adjusted based on your the number of calories that you would be consuming per day. Now, the ingredients, these are the ingredients. You want to see as few of those as possible. Make sure to read the ingredient list. It's valuable information there. It lists all the ingredients in the food in order of their quantity. So be sure to be aware of any allergens or ingredients you want to avoid, like natural and artificial flavors, for instance. Also, keep in mind, you may not have known this, but there are over 50 different names for sugar. So if you don't want a lot of sugar in your diet, make sure that you're looking closely at the ingredients list, because there's some added sugars in there that you may not want. Also, you want to make sure that there are not a lot of names in the ingredient list that you can't pronounce, and that there's just too many of them. So you want as few as possible. There's one ingredient here. There's one ingredient here. Well, there's several ingredients here. There's water, organic carrot juice concentrate, organic celery juice concentrate, organic dextrose, sugar, organic garlic, organic leek juice concentrate, organic onion juice concentrate, organic tomato paste, sea salt, organic mushroom juice concentrate, organic spices, organic apple cider vinegar. And for our spirulina, the ingredients are organic spirulina powder. That's all. Just remember to use the nutrition labels as a tool to help you make informed decisions about your food choices, but also be mindful of your overall diet, lifestyle, and your physical activity. Woo! That was a lot. What makes this a lot easier? Choosing foods without a label. Remember, the front of the package is only marketing. The back of the product is where all the important information is that you need to know about what you're consuming. Make healthier choices in the grocery aisle. Was this helpful to you? Are you reading the labels on the grocery items that you purchase? Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to know more nutrition information, click the link in the description below and get my free ebook, 3 Keys to Maximizing Your Life During Menopause. If you like this video, subscribe, and always remember, it's your life. Live it well.